Hi, boys and girls. It's me, Ms. McNichol. Welcome to episode number 7 of Goodnight, Jaworek School. I'm very excited because for today's episode, we have our first guest reader. It's someone that you all know and love right here from Jaworek School. It is our own Ms. Fisher.
Hi, Jaworek School. I'm so excited to read with you today.
Before Ms. Fisher shares with you a story about a special teddy bear, let's find out how teddy bears are made. Teddy bears are made in factories. This one is in Vermont. First, a designer draws a picture of an idea for a teddy bear, and then a big machine called a die cutter, like a cookie cutter, cuts out the pieces. A seamstress sews them up on a sewing machine, and then the pieces all sewn together are filled with fluff or the stuffing that's inside. Someone then takes a needle and thread and stitches up the back of the bear so the stuffing doesn't fall out. The bear is brushed so it looks fluffy. It's dressed in an outfit that looks just right for that bear, and then some ribbon or some extra details and trimmings might be added. The bear is packed in a box and taken to a store, just for you or for someone else.
I'm reading a story called Corduroy by Don Freeman. He's also the illustrator of this book, so he did the pictures. I really like this story a lot. This was a story that was read to me when I was in elementary school, and I hope that you guys all enjoy it. Again, this is Corduroy Story and Pictures by Don Freeman. Corduroy is a bear who once lived in the toy department of a big store. Day after day, he waited with all the other animals and dolls for somebody to come along and take him home. The store was always filled with shoppers buying all sorts of things, but no one ever seemed to want a small bear in green overalls. Then one morning, a little girl stopped and looked straight into Corduroy's bright eyes. "Oh, Mommy," she said, "look, there's the very bear I've always wanted." "Not today, dear," her mother sighed. "I spent too much already. Besides, he doesn't look new. He's lost the button to one of his shoulder straps." Corduroy watched them sadly as they walked away. "I didn't know I'd lost a button," he said to himself. "Tonight, I'll go and see if I can find it." Late that evening, when all the shoppers had gone and the doors were shut and locked, Corduroy climbed carefully down from his shelf and began searching everywhere on the floor for his lost button. Suddenly, he felt the floor moving under him. Quite by accident, he had stepped onto an escalator, and up he went. Could this be a mountain, he wondered? I think I've always wanted to climb a mountain. He stepped off the escalator as it reached the next floor, and there before his eyes was a most amazing sight. Tables and chairs and lamps and sofas and rows of beds. "This must be a palace," Corduroy gasped. "I've always wanted to live in a palace." He wandered around admiring the furniture. "This must be a bed," he said. "I've always wanted to sleep in a bed." And up he crawled into a large, thick mattress. All at once, he saw something small and round. "Why, here's my button," he cried, and he tried to pick it up. But like all the other buttons on the mattress, it was tied down tight. He yanked and pulled with both paws until, pop, off came the button, and off the mattress Corduroy toppled. Bang! Into a tall floor lamp. Over it fell with a crash. Corduroy didn't know it, but there was someone else awake in the store. The night watchman was going his rounds on the floor above. When he heard the crash, he came dashing down the escalator. "Now who in the world did that?" he exclaimed. "Somebody must be hiding around here." He flashed his light under and over sofas and beds until he came to the biggest bed of all, and there he saw 2 fuzzy brown ears sticking up from under the cover. "Hello," he said. "How did you get upstairs?" The watchman tucked Corduroy under his arm and carried him down the escalator, and sat him on the shelf in the toy department with the other animals and dolls. Corduroy was just waking up when the first customers came into the store in the morning, and there, looking at him with a wide, warm smile, was the same little girl he'd seen only the day before. "I'm Lisa," she said, "and you're going to be my very own bear." Last night I counted what I saved in my piggy bank, and my mother said I could bring you home. Shall I put him in a box for you? The saleslady asked. Oh, no, thank you, Lisa answered, and she carried Corduroy home in her arms. She ran all the way up 4 flights of stairs into her family's apartment and straight to her own room. Corduroy blinked. There was a chair and a chest of drawers, and alongside a girl-sized bed stood a little bed just the right size for him. The room was small, nothing like the enormous palace in the department store. This must be home, he said. I know I've always wanted a home. Lisa sat down with Corduroy on her lap and began to sew a button on his overalls. I like you the way you are, she said, but you'll be more comfortable with your shoulder strap fastened. You must be a friend, said Corduroy. I've always wanted a friend. Me too, said Lisa, and gave him a big hug.
Before we end with tonight's reading of Goodnight, Jaworek School, I want to invite all of you to take a copy of Goodnight, Jaworek School and color it in. Get it back to me in room 128, just like a friend, Brittany Racinos, did, because tonight I'm going to share her colored version of Goodnight, Jaworek School. Goodnight, Jaworek School, colored by Brittany Racinos, written by Audrey McNichol. And Brittany asks us to try and find her past and present teachers' names as we read her colored copy. Late in the evening on Hosmer Street, where all the cool kids have been tapping a beat, they'll lay in their beds, not one of them a fool, when we all say goodnight to Jaworek School. We go to class and learn something new. We chat with our friends and our teachers too. We share our school spirit. We share what we know. Then just after 3 o'clock, it's time to go. In Jaworek School, at the end of the day, when all of the students have gone home to play, we close all the windows and put down our tools as we say good night to Jaworek School. Good night to the teachers. Good night to the halls. Good night to the artwork hanging on the walls. Good night to the books and our principals too. Good night to JJ, dressed all in blue. Good night to the gym where we climb and run. Good night to the playscape where we have fun. Good night to the numbers. Good night to the words. Good night to all of the stories we heard. In Jaworek School, at the end of the day, when all of the students have gone home to play, we'll close all the windows and put down our tools as we say good night to Jaworek School. Thank you, Brittany, for sharing your coloring with us.
I hope that you enjoyed this story as much as I enjoyed reading it to you. Good night, Jaworek School.